Right, here we go with number B. This one won't be quite as long, so maybe not as painful. Brazil 2019. What happens is Valtteri Bottas, his engine blows up, so he pulls off to the side of the road and parks it at turn 4. Now you'll know turn 4, it's the one where Strap-on runs Hamilton off the road in 2021. So we'll take you through what they showed you by F1 TV, showing the global public of what was happening, and then we'll take you through what the commentary was. It'd be so much easier if we could just play the footage and play the actual video that's on F1 TV, but that gets blocked on copyright, so I've got to do it this way. Here we go. So, lap 52, you can see Bottas has pulled over onto the grass, and this car is going to trundle down to this corner where there's a gap in the barrier, enabling that car to be quickly dragged off. So that's lap 52. Now, if I just go back to here, when he comes to a standstill, you can see the leader of this race, Max Verstappen. Kids, you're going to love that. Okay, Max Verstappen is leading this race, and he is they're only approaching the start finish line. So realistically, lap 53 is about what we're going to be on for them two drivers now. It's pretty close call. So lap 52, and then they show you, and you can see it's changed here now to lap 53 of 71. And this is where Bottas has parked it. This is the close-up, all being shown on the TV. And then this gives the aerial view of that corner. So you can see realistically he's tucked it in. He's come down this grass. He's tucked it in over here. So he's out of harm's way. The chances of getting hit there is extremely remote. So he's done a good job. So arguably this is quite a lame safety car deployment. However, in this world that we now live in, where health and safety is key, it's important, don't get me wrong, but it's litigation culture whereby if something freakish was to happen and one of these drivers were to end up crashing either into this car or into the recovery vehicle, then the FIA are responsible for it. If somebody died as a result, they would be responsible. So what they will then do is cover themselves by taking measures that guarantee they're not found to be negligent. We can fast forward to Japan 2022, where the race director did something that was completely wrong, completely negligent, and actually you never saw that race director for the rest of the season. They didn't tell you why. They didn't tell you it was gross misconduct, it was gross negligence. They just palmed it off as being, oh well, we're just gonna use one race director from now on to the rest of the season, just for more consistency. The real reason was it was gross negligence by that race director, but they'll spin it another way. But anyway, initially you can see here yellow flag sectors 1 and 2. So they are debating whether they can get away with recovering this car under yellow flags. And you get the banner on the screen that says hazard on track. Well, it's not on track, but hazard, drivers to slow down, no overtaking near the incident. So sectors 1 and 2, you're under yellow conditions. You've got to slow down, no overtaking. They show you the aerial view. They show you again the guys there trying to make sure the car's manoeuvrable. Not really in harm's way as such. Maybe a very, very tiny little bit of danger, but almost negligible. Aerial view again. This bit of green, whatever it is, painted tarmac, AstroTurf, whatever it might be. Strap-on likes taking this line through the corner. He just clips the apex. Well, no, clips this here before this yellow bit of curb and goes straight across there in a straight line. Sends it all the way out there. And Christian Horner calls it, we call that let them race, Michael. But that's called running a driver off the track, deliberately trying to crash them out of the race. Michael Schumacher got banned for a season for that. He got his whole points for the entire season taken away from him for intentionally trying to take another car out of a race. That's what Strap-on did in Brazil 2021. No penalties. So lap 54 of 71. I've done this slide just to show you that a few seconds after this slide, safety car. All right, so we know Bottas was on his lap 52. They were just about starting lap 53. They go all the way around lap 53, and it's whilst they're on lap 54, Massey decides to throw the safety car. Okay. They cut back to Bottas, the fact that this JCB vehicle is recovering the vehicle. We get the banner. Drivers to follow safety car. No overtaking. We get the aerial view of what is actually happening at that turn, at that incident. So the car has now been hooked up to the JCB. It's going to be lifted and just reverse back along here, out of harm's way. Okay, all fairly straightforward. We get some more views of what's going on there. Okay, this is on lap 55. You can clearly see over here, top left, lap 55. F1 TV is showing the world what is happening at this location. Viewers are kept informed about what is going on. We didn't see this at Abu Dhabi. We were kept in the dark and fed on shit. So what we also see is we see the cars going by. Here's the Red Bull of Verstappen. Max fans, get excited. There's a bit of Max's car over here on the right hand side. Yay! Right, so what's behind though is the JCB reversing with Bottas's car. We've got a McLaren there. Lap 55. And then we've got whatever that is. Is that Alfa Romeo maybe? Whatever it is. That's going by there. And then we cut to race control again. Right. Here's the key about race control, because they like showing us Massey. Look at who's in race control. We've got this guy on the end that you can see his face. And then you can't really see who's behind Massey, but you can look at the arms. This guy with the chubby arms here. Got a watch on and a chubby arm. You got this guy with the sleeves. That's the third guy. You got Massey here with his arms folded. That's the fourth guy. You got this guy here with very little hair. He's the fifth guy. You got somebody's nose here right on the left hand side of the screen. That's the sixth guy. Up the top here, there's another bank of screens. I would guess, based on what we saw in Spain, there's another row of somewhere in the region of 5 men sitting at those screens there. This is FIA race control. What's on the screens? What's on the screens that these guys are looking at? Looks a little bit like data view, doesn't it? Looks very similar to data view. I wonder, are they looking at data view? Or are they manually working out where the lap cars actually are? Because that's not necessarily that easy to work out, is it, when you're doing it manually, or you're just looking at a computer screen where it clearly tells you? I wonder. Anyway, that's race control that F1 TV showed us. Then we cut back to the incident once more. They're showing us what's happening. This is well off track now, though. Okay, this is well out of the way. You can clearly see we're behind the barriers. There's no marshals needing to clear anything up here. There's no debris on the track. This is the most simple clear-up operation you'll get. So, now on lap 57 of 71, bearing in mind, Bottas broke down on his lap 52. The leaders were starting lap 53. So from lap 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, okay? Lapped cars may now overtake. And the list of cars, all of them that have been lapped, are there. Lap 57, end of lap 57. What you see is, you've got the safety car in the middle of the screen. Behind him is Lewis Hamilton, who's currently leading because Verstappen pitted for fresh softs and is now in second place. The car that's crossing the start-finish line is George Russell, who happened to be the last lap car. You'll see on the running order there's Robert Kubica. He's been lapped twice. They're not going to allow him to go twice around the track. Effectively, if you've been lapped twice and you're that far behind, your race pretty much is over. But you'll get released one lap. In the on-track order, George Russell was the last of those cars that needed to unlap. So he's unlapped prior to the start of lap 58. Which means lap 58 is the mandatory safety car lap, and they can go racing again on lap 59. What happens? Lap 59. Well, we're on lap 59. We're not racing. We're on lap 59, and then we get the notification it's ending. Look at where they are on tracker view. They're at turn 5 on lap 59. So rather than go start racing again, what Massey's doing, it's the second safety car lap. He's done the mandatory one, which was lap 58, and now he's used 15.3 again. He's used his discretionary use of the safety car to keep that safety car lapping, to ensure sporting fairness to all competitors, to give them the opportunity to catch the back of the track so that that race can restart in the correct order and all cars nose to tail. That's the way the safety car situation works. It's not made up. This is what happens. This is what Massey knows. He's gone over and above just applying the normal safety car rules. He's done the process. He's done the unlapping procedure. But rather than just immediately jump to resuming racing, he's looked at the situation. He's acknowledged that some of the competitors have been disadvantaged and their races have been skewed by the safety car deployment, and he has kept the safety car lapping for a further lap in order for them to catch the back of the pack. This is the second time he's done that. I've showed you that he did that at Spain 19. Now it's Brazil 19. There's going to be more. Tune in. This doesn't stop here. Okay? So, and at the end of lap 59, safety car ending, and we get the banner. Hazard is now clear. Racing to resume at the end of lap. Did we ever see the banner? Lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake. No, because it's not an authentic banner. It was made up entirely for Abu Dhabi 2021. So if I just actually go back to the tracker view, just to explain something at this point. So, just to again help people that are a little bit slow on the uptake. Max Verstappen is the race leader. Lewis Hamilton, I'm going on this straight at the top of the screen, start finish straight. Race leader Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton second. If we look down this list here, Sebastian Vettel is third. Okay, let's look on track. Behind Hamilton is Pierre Gasly. But if it's not Vettel, then that means Pierre Gasly has been lapped. Okay? And Vettel in third is actually all the way back here at between turns 10 and 11. Which means if Verstappen and Hamilton have come by Gasly, Gasly is in 7th position. Everybody down the field from 7th position downwards has been lapped. Okay? So the only drivers that are on the same lap are Vettel, which is here, Leclerc, which is here, Alex Albon, which is at turn 6, and Bottas, who we now know is out of the race. So with Bottas being out of the race, Pierre Gasly is now in 6th position. Right? 6th position, but been lapped. How many championship points do you get for 6th position? Is it 8? You get 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8. Right, so he's currently on course for 8 points. But he wants the opportunity to challenge for a higher position. And those cars behind him are going to be challenging him. They've all got to be given that same opportunity. These are World Championship points. This is a season-long campaign where you attend every single event and compete. And what you do, you pick up as many championship points at each event. You add them together, and whoever ends up with the most points at the end of the season is the winner. Everybody matters at every event. That's what the sport is. That is what the sport is. Anyway, I'm now going to take you through what Brundle and Crofty told us at Brazil 2019.
Valtteri Bottas slowing down. We saw the smoke coming out of the back of his engine, and it's going to be a terminal problem for Valtteri Bottas as he retires from this race.
And how sensibly will he park that car? Will we need a virtual safety car? Will we need a safety car indeed?
He's done a very good job indeed there to keep it going, trundle down, find the gap in the fence and park it off the track.
Yeah, he's out of the firing line then.
So even Brundle knows that he's out of the firing line and it's not really a problem. It shouldn't really need a safety car, but as I say, in today's day and age, they are extra cautious. Let's face it, we don't want to see anybody die, whether that be drivers, whether that be marshals that are there at trackside. We don't want to see that, so it's better to be safe than sorry. However, in Formula 1 it does appear that they're using the safety car in a far greater abundancy than ever before, because it does inject fresh drama into races. By bunching, you get 30, 40, 50 laps into a race, when everybody's spread out and has earned and gained these advantages over all the other competitors that they're racing. And then they just decide that all them advantages, everything you've worked for, is just going to be scrapped. And we're just going to restart the race like the race start again. Is that really fair? Is that fair in terms of everything you'd worked for 30 or 40 laps of a 50-lap race all wiped out? Well, the answer is no, but that's the rules. There are better alternatives. That's it. At the moment, this isn't the place for discussing that. This is just showing you what Michael Massey knows, what Massey does. Okay, this is his conduct. This is what he has demonstrated. He is aware of these. This is his decision making. Okay, and this is building to this notion of proving that this was no error in Abu Dhabi. This was no error, but this is going to be proved in several stages. Okay, and Brundle and Crofty know as well.
This is because of a power unit problem, and they can just push that Mercedes back through the gap and get it out of the way. Surprise.
So that's what they thought could just happen, but it doesn't actually happen like that.
So he is out of the firing line there. He's out of the way in a very sensible way that he has parked it. Hamilton getting ever nearer to Verstappen while we're watching this and getting. So
you can see Hamilton and Verstappen. They're this far around the lap on their lap 53, 54, no, 53 this is. So Verstappen and Hamilton now on lap 54. So this is lap 54. Listen to what they say.
Keep you posted if anything is said. Valtteri Bottas stands by the side of the track, watching his teammate go past in hot pursuit of Max Verstappen.
I'd be inclined to just leave that car there and not put people out, actually. Safety car, full safety car.
So, remember, Hamilton and Verstappen and Hamilton were pretty much crossing the line, starting their lap 53 when Bottas had pulled over. They completed lap 53. This is lap 54, so they've gone well over half the way round lap 54. So they've completed 1 lap and 2/3 of a lap before the safety car is even deployed. All right, the safety car will be deployed and will pick them up around about turn 2 when they come round on what will be lap 55.
Well, safety car. And this could make things very interesting indeed in this race, as the pack will now concertina together. And because Valtteri Bottas had an engine problem and pulled over to the side of the track, well, the race control, the race director has thought, well, we need a safety car here, so no overtaking, everyone concertinas together. What does now this mean?
And a cheap pit stop for anybody who needs to come in now. It takes you about 11 seconds to stop.
Box, opposite Verstappen.
So if Verstappen comes in, you stay out, and if Verstappen stays out, you come in.
Okay, what we're going to do is switch to data view. When the internet speeds itself up, I might need to pause this 2 seconds, and we're back. So here we go, data view.
And if Verstappen stays out, you come in. So Ted Kravitz, you're going to see one of these two cars, possibly it's Verstappen coming in, Ted.
Verstappen pits and drops down to second.
Going to put a set of soft tyres on, and then he's going to be very quick. It's only 11 seconds. Verstappen can make that time back. So this is a gift to the likes of Leclerc, who can put fresh tyres on. Romain Grosjean, who is being chased down by loads of other people on trying to make a one-stop race. That's going to be a gift to him. I think Lance Stroll
Norris pitted.
As I see
Stroll pitted.
coming in on those soft
Giovinazzi
tyres.
moves up a place.
They're going to pit as well. So it's really helping a lot of the midfield runners.
Perez moves
see
up.
Hamilton and
Ricardo
Verstappen
moves up.
Max is now going to chase him down. Did you not think that was slightly pot and kettle calling black with Verstappen saying that Lewis didn't slow down enough for yellow flags?
I thought he'd learned his lesson well from
pits.
Mexico, Ted. Don't be a cynic.
But on the restart, Max has got a lot of cars in front of him. Grosjean, Gasly, in fact, no, just 2 cars between him and Lewis Hamilton.
So
Leclerc
there's Valtteri
pits.
Bottas' car getting winched away. Michael Massey, the race director, in the background there, with his hair getting ever greyer, I'm sure. As in comes Charles Leclerc for his pit
Albon
stop.
moves up a place while Leclerc's in the
lapped
pit.
Cars, Martin, can unlap themselves. So if there are a few cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen on the track, I think most of those are lapped cars and will get out of the way. So on the restart at the moment.
Okay, so you can see what goes on data view. All right, you can see that is what is going on. It's quite easy to monitor, but you can also see 6th position, Pierre Gasly, +1 lap. And everybody from 6th downwards has been lapped. Kubica lapped twice, which will get one of them laps back. All right, that's the way it will be. So they know that all of these cars are going to be released. All of them. Any cars that have been lapped will be told to unlap. It means all of them. It always has done. There's no ambiguity. So what we need to do is go back to here, is see what goes on and listen to what they say. I think I might have missed them describing the fact that all of the lapped cars are going to be released. Let me just backtrack it 20 seconds and just make sure that we've not missed out any of that. Yes, we had missed it whilst I was talking. Here we go.
His pit stop. The key here is that the lapped cars, Martin, can unlap themselves. So if there are a few cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen on the track, I think most of those are lapped cars and will get out of the way. So on the restart at the moment, Gasly's been lapped, Grosjean's been lapped. They'll both clear out of the way. So Hamilton will have Verstappen.
They'll get out of the way. Okay, look at the way they describe it, and you'll see how important this is.
Right behind him.
It's not an absolute given that they let lap runners through, is it? But it's certainly
Yes, Martin. You keep gaslighting people about this. Every time it's ever taken place, they do this. That's not just flip of a coin. That's not, oh, shall we, shan't we? It's a given. You have to do it. There are reasons why you have to do it. If you don't know those reasons, Martin, you should not be doing the job that you're doing. You are employed as the expert of this sport. You are there to educate fans and viewers with exactly what is going on, with the rules of the sport, and to explain to them. That is your role. You're not just there for entertainment. You're not just some nobody. You're somebody that's been a driver for 12 years and a pundit stroke now expert there for 26 years at the point Abu Dhabi happened. 26 years of informing the viewers of exactly what was going to be taking place, because you have that level of expertise. If you don't know, you shouldn't be doing it. And if you do know, you shouldn't be lying about it. Why would you be lying? You'd be lying if you're paid to lie, because you are actually presenting an agenda. That's exactly what you're doing. So, you wouldn't have somebody being a football pundit or football commentator going, oh, well, yeah, don't really know there. Don't really know what the offside rule's all about. I think sometimes the referee can blow his whistle if he wants to, but it doesn't necessarily have to. It's, you know, sometimes they do some... Shut up! It doesn't happen. You've got that level of knowledge where you tell the fans what is going on. It applies to every sport that you will watch. You don't have some nobody that doesn't know what they're talking about.
Available. It's at the discretion of the
9 times out of 10.
Massey that they, yes, as you say, they.
It's not at the discretion. It's once it is safe to do so, the message lapped cars will be allowed to overtake will be sent via the official messaging system to all competitors. Okay? That's not discretionary. That's what the rules say. It doesn't say discretionary. It says if it is safe to do so. So if it's safe to do so, that's what you do. And if it's not safe to do so, you don't. But if it's not safe to do so, you don't go racing. Because if it's not safe to release a car that has been lapped, how on earth can you deem it safe to actually start racing? Use your brains. Stop trying to manipulate words to try and twist it as though, oh, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Of course it means that. Of course it means that.
Usually do.
So Leclerc has had...
Usually as in every time.
His second pit stop of this race. And just get the feeling this has worked out beautifully for Charles Leclerc in his scrap that will be coming up with Sebastian Vettel, assuming, of course, he gets past Alex Albon.
He's quite a long way behind him at the moment, but...
So we're not just talking about Hamilton and Verstappen in first and seconds, are we? We've just been talking about how this is impacting Charles Leclerc. Nobody was talking about any of the other drivers in Abu Dhabi. Nobody was talking about which drivers had changed onto which tyres and who they're going to be able to challenge on the restart. Nothing whatsoever. It was only Hamilton against Verstappen. A duel. A two-car race-off. Separating out two competitors in a field of competitors and enabling them and them alone to race off for a win. That is not valid. There is no rules of any Grand Prix that will allow that, because a Grand Prix is contested by all competitors, and fairness to all competitors has to be considered at every Grand Prix. No Grand Prix is a final. They are like league events. They all carry the same weighting. The first game of the season is the same as the last game of the season. If the last game of the season is ending up a draw, you don't settle it with a penalty shootout. It's a league game. You pick up your points, whether that be 0, 1 or 3 points in a football game. You add them to however many points you've accumulated all season, and that's what happens. It's the same at every Grand Prix. You cannot just separate out two of the competitors and race them off for a win. You can't do it. But they did. They broke the rules just to set up that spectacle. The commentators were lying. F1 TV set the narrative. Massey broke the rules to make it happen. 3 separate parties contributed to making you, the viewer, believe that it was possible for that to take place. And none of them called it out. Nobody in the media has called it out properly ever since.
One way behind him at the moment, but this safety car period is going to go on for a while, I think, while it all sorts itself out.
What tyres he gone to? And is it that corner?
Hamilton just feels here, sitting duck. Max on fresher, faster tyres behind him with a package that has worked well all weekend. But
so it's a known thing within the sport. Within the entire sport, it's a known thing that if you're not on fresh, soft tyres and somebody else is, you're a sitting duck. So the commentators know that. If you're the race director, you'll know that. If you are in charge of the TV footage and you're in and around the sport, you'll know that. As fans, we know that. But Massey broke the rules, knowing what was going on, and went ahead and created that manufactured 2-car race-off, knowing that one was on fresh, soft tyres and the other would be a sitting duck. That is called race fixing. That is called race fixing.
Just how many laps will Verstappen have to get past Hamilton when we go racing again?
Safety car needs to speed up, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I got the feeling that message was coming as well. Ted, down to you.
It seems like
I got the feeling that message was coming as well. This is awful for Lewis then. Then he needs to get the heat into them tyres. So, we've not got that narrative, have we? So, we are now on lap 57, and you hear this.
Lapped cars are now starting to unlap themselves, which means a lot of action, as you can see. Starting with car number 10, Pierre Gasly. As there's a lot of lap cars, so it's a very short lap here.
Pierre Gasly!
Very quickly do you start getting laps, and this is going to take a while to sort itself out a little bit. How many laps older are Sebastian Vettel's tyres? 5 laps older than Charles Leclerc's.
Yeah, Max is on brand new softs then, of course.
Yeah. So he's on brand new softs. When did Albon come into the pits?
Lewis is on 12 lap old mediums.
So we're on 12 lap old mediums, and Max is on fresh softs, and you know that Lewis will be a sitting duck even on 12 lap old mediums. So what does it make him if he's on 44 lap old hards? Even more of a sitting duck? Dead in the water, maybe?
So he'd only just come into the pits, Albon as well. Is there a danger here, Martin, that Lewis Hamilton is under threat from Verstappen, Vettel, Albon and Leclerc towards the end of this race?
Could be. Yep.
So this is on mediums. This is how much of a disadvantage tyres can be.
Leclerc's got to pass Albon first before he can get to his teammate, but Vettel's sitting there as well, exposed, isn't he? Albon was unlucky because I think he did a green flag pit stop, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But they've all concertinaed up. I guess when you put the full safety car out, and when you put the full safety car out, it means there are periods of time when the pack are all round the other side of the track. And if you want to clear a car away, whereas a virtual safety car, they can keep coming round all the time. It was a difficult call, but that car was out of the firing line. You couldn't hit that car there, but I guess leaving a stranded car on the side of the track is not really very Formula One, is it?
No.
So as I showed you in the on the screenshots, Russell has now passed the leaders and will be passing the safety car, which means all of the lapped cars have been released on lap 57. Lap 58 is the mandatory safety car lap. We can go racing on lap 59.
There's the Williams of George Russell unlapping himself, and with Russell now doing that, that means that all the lapped cars have unlapped themselves. But Pierre Gasly is just going through Lorania, the little pine tree at turn 8, while Charles Leclerc is going through turn 1. So there's a massive gap for the pack now to catch up with the top 6 who were all running on the lead lap. So that safety car, Martin, could be out for a couple of laps longer, do you feel?
What's this, Crofty? This safety car could be out for a couple of laps longer. What are you telling everybody? Are you telling the world that you know that the race director might keep the safety car out there for even longer than the mandatory period to enable these to catch up? You're going to word it a different way now. You're going to say, because you need them fully out of the way so they don't interfere. But you've just said that this safety car period may be prolonged.
Yeah, if they're going to let them get all the way back round to the back of the pack, yeah.
And I kind of think they need to do that because it's such a short lap here. Yeah. What you don't want is...
You kind of need to do that for sporting fairness to every competitor.
Teetering up and then interfering with the race leaders in about 10 laps time.
You don't want any of these interfering with the leaders in 10 laps time, okay? So you don't want Pierre Gasly and everybody down here interfering with the leaders in 10 laps time. And who are the leaders? So you're saying the leaders are these 5 cars here: Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Albon and Leclerc. You don't want any of these people, Gasly downwards, interfering with them. Okay.
If that makes sense. I know we've only got 71 laps here, but I mean, the key is that they then don't interfere with the race for the rest.
That's not the key. That's not the key.
Rest of this race. And because they'll all be scrapping away for points as well, and it's only fair that they can then run their race.
They're about a half a lap ahead now.
Yeah. So I think... I would imagine in a couple of laps' time the safety car will go, and it's what the 12th time we've had a safety car affected race here at Interlagos.
The safety car is remarkably fast for a road car. Why does it need to be a road car? Because it's got to be on the key.
Waffle.
In any conditions, wet or dry, on a set of tyres that are suitable, with enough fuel to take this lot around for a good while.
The safety car's got to have enough fuel in it. Oh, okay. That's why it's got to be a road car, is it, Brundle?
Christian Horner on the Red Bull pit wall. Good news or bad news, this safety car, and why did you decide to pit?
Don't listen to that sausage. Right, start of lap 59. We're about to go racing again.
To the end of the race.
And the end of the race, he's going to have...
What? We've just completed the mandatory safety car lap. What's happening?
A chance to get past Lewis, but surely you're going to have to be watching as well for Vettel, for Albon, Leclerc.
Oh, we're still on the old radio to Horner. Aren't we talking about what's happening in the race?
Could be a grandstand finish, this.
Oh, a grandstand finish. Amazing.
It's going to be a big one. So, yeah, you know, we've gone for it. As I say, if we'd have stayed out, they would have pitted. We elected to take the aggressive approach, so we'll see what we've got to the end of the race.
Thanks ever so much, Christian, and good to have you with us this weekend.
As always.
How old are my tyres, man?
Are we not racing yet?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep them behind. So they're 15 laps.
Safety car coming in at the end of this lap, so he's going to have 12 laps or so to try and survive this. It's kind of...
So safety car in at the end of this lap, so this is the second lap beyond the lap on which the lapped cars were released. He's done the mandatory one, and now he's doing this one. This is your 15.3. For those that want to keep quoting the rules, this is the point of 15.3. This is the race director's overriding authority. This is his discretionary use of the safety car for the purpose of either safety or sporting fairness. That's what it's for.
Of all doom and gloom in Lewis Hamilton's head, but that's understandable given the position he's now in.
Verstappen and the Red Bull have just had the raw pace today to put themselves in this strong position, but it's not done and dusted yet. But Lewis is definitely having a glass half empty day.
Which could all change if he's on the top step of the podium at the end of this race. Max Verstappen is as keen as a young cocker spaniel behind him there to get going.
And you really do need...
Okay, we've now got the safety car, Snake, all formed up and we're ready to go racing. Okay, but remember, now that they're all formed up, what's so good about it is that those top 5 can have a good race, and at least those lapped cars can't interfere with that race, okay? Because the last thing we want is any interference.
We've got past Timo Glock in 2008 and Junsao to get past Gasly. The checker flag is out. The Brazilian Grand Prix goes to Max Verstappen. A year after he finished second and had it taken away in his redemption day, Hamilton fights Gasly to the line. Gasly comes home to take second place by less than 1/10 of a second and win his first podium in Formula One. Hamilton comes home third. Carlos Sainz equals his best performance in a race by finishing 4th. Kimi Raikkonen is back in the top 5 ahead of Giovinazzi. What a day for Alfa Romeo.
Hang on a minute. The top 5 was Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Vettel and Albon. We've now got Pierre Gasly finishing second, his first ever podium. Carlos Sainz, his highest ever F1 finish, and Kimi Raikkonen in 5th. What's going on there? I don't think they're allowed to interfere. Brundle and Crofty live this. They can see the implications of this. They commentate on it, they narrate it, they talk about it, they see it happen, and yet they still lie to viewers about what the purpose is for. Wake up, people. Wake up. They're lying. So once again, this is a second example, and there's more to come, of what Massey has done when controlling the use of the safety car. Why has he done it? He has done it in the knowledge of affording sporting fairness to all competitors in that race, because he knows the implications and he has seen what it does to the chances of every competitor in that race. When you know the rules, when you know the implications, when you then break the rules, you know the implications of that. You don't make that mistake and not know what it's going to produce. Lots more to come.